Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome. It is the one, the only Big Trail Network. I'm its host and creator, Ty Hudson. I hope you've had a fabulous week. It's Friday, hence the pink flamingo shirt, right? And as of yesterday, August 1st, that's official football kickoff month for the Hogs, right? At the end of the month, you're playing Portland State. You're playing football at the end of the month. That's awesome. It doesn't get any better than that. It's like when you walk outside to check the mail and you smell your neighbor's cooking barbecue. That's what it's like for those of us who cover the Hogs. To any capacity, no matter how big or small or whatever it is that you do, if you're covering the Razorbacks, this is the best time of the year getting ready. And so they're starting today. I think actually around 6 p.m. they're going to start their first practice of fall camp. So that's what this video is about. We're gonna talk about some things that we're looking out for. If you guys would, at the end of the video, like, comment, share the content that you just watched. And of course, if you haven't already, feel free to tap the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to check out all the links, so on and so forth. Let's get into the video, to the meat and potatoes, if you will. So we'll start off with the position that has to have the most improvement. From 2018 to 2019, it's been a part of the team that's been the biggest weakness for the last several years, going back to the tail end of the Brett Bielema era. It's the offensive line, without a doubt. Literally 20 minutes before I started recording this video, as I was doing a little bit of research, a friend of mine hit me up on Facebook, and he said, Ty, coming out of fall camp, who's your starting five on the offensive line, and how much improved do you think they can be coming into year two of the Chad Morris era? And I'm going to say this. I'm not saying that if this happens that they're going to be, oh, my God, they're going to be elite. It's going to be heaven up front. They're going to win left and right. They're going to make a bowl game. I'm not saying that any of that happens. But I think it starts the journey or the path to improvement and possibly competing for a bowl game. And that's if these two players or one player stand up and take the position, and that's Colton Jackson at the left tackle spot. If Colton Jackson is able to cement himself as the starter coming in and coming out of fall camp, getting ready for week one, holds on to that position all year long, doesn't lose it, the offensive line is going to benefit greatly. Because what that's going to do is that's going to allow an athletic, big-time junior college prospect in Myron Cunningham to come in and play somewhere else along the offensive line. He is capable of starting anywhere along that offensive line. When he committed and signed for Arkansas, I remember everyone was going crazy about it, on radio and, the articles that were written and so on and so forth. Everyone was going crazy about his commitment. And then when he signed, and then when he got here in the spring, it was basically everything that we had read about, the coaches verified. Myron Cunningham is a player. He's an offensive lineman. He's capable and he's athletic enough to play anywhere along that offensive line. He's about 6'6". I think he's around 285, 290. I didn't see if he weighed in or not. I didn't see that. I know they talked about that during the week a little bit and last week. But he is capable of starting elsewhere along the offensive line. So if Colton Jackson can cement himself as the starter at the left tackle spot, the rest of the offensive line is going to benefit. Because you're talking about a former defensive tackle in Austin Capps. You've had former walk-ons try to help out on the interior offensive line. You've got Ty Clary, Shane Clinton, and Dalton Wagner. They're going to probably make up the rest of the offensive line as far as your starters, at least at some point during this camp. That's what you expect as your starters or your guys that work with the ones. But you've got to free up Myron Cunningham. The rest of your offensive line will greatly benefit. Switching over to the defense, I know everyone wants to stay with the offense. We'll talk about the quarterbacks next week as they get more practices under their belts and we see who's running with the ones and twos. We'll talk about that. But going over to the defense, I want to talk about some incoming freshmen to keep an eye on, and then obviously a couple of guys who obviously we're going to all naturally keep an eye on anyways, but some guys I think who need to see some improvement. One of those being Dorian Gerald. Dorian Gerald, who I've been big on ever since they signed him, ever since they were able to bring him in. The film that I've seen and then watching him play, I think he has a high ceiling. We just need to see him take the path. We need to see him be that guy. I think he's capable of doing it. I think he's capable of having that Montreal Spate, since they're both JUCO guys. Remember, Spate was a JUCO guy. Came in year one. Everyone thought, what is this guy doing on the field? And then year two, he's so good that he gets drafted. Or he's good enough, he plays good enough, has good enough film that he gets drafted. I think that could be Dorian Gerald. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that it could be. It could be someone special. The other guy who I think people have the wrong expectations of but still needs to get it figured out is Sosa Agim. And I don't think it's all on him. Part of the problem has been they've moved him inside and out. They've changed from a 4-front to a 3-front, back to a 4-front with a different scheme. They move him in and out. to play interior or outside on the defensive line. Now that he's had a full offseason to play inside, he's not a difference maker. That's not what he is. He's not a stellar playmaker. He's capable of doing that, but we've not really seen that from him the last 3 years. He's got to be someone that steals so much attention from the offensive line that he's going to demand double teams, that he's going to demand the attention from the offensive line coach as they prepare for Arkansas in the upcoming week. That's what Sosa Agim has to be inside at that interior defensive tackle spot, and I think he's definitely capable of doing that. One-on-one, he's got to be a nightmare for the defense. Double team him, steal the attention. It's going to force them to bring in someone else to block. It's going to force a fullback, tight end, or a running back to go into pass protection mode to have to help out with the defensive line. That could all happen if Sosa Agim turns it up inside. And look, he's got the frame for the size and the weight they're putting on him. He's got the frame to hold it. If he wants to play at the NFL level, it's inside. It's an interior player. He's not a pass rush guy. That's not what he is outside. Inside, he can be a problem. He's capable of doing that. He's been a consistent, I'm not ragging on him, he's been a consistent 3-year starter. Now he's in his natural position. Let's see him tear it up, and let's see him demand double team from the offensive line. As far as freshmen coming in, I'm asked this quite a bit. They're going to play a lot of freshmen, I think, on the defensive side of the ball. They'll probably play them enough to where either they do or don't, where they probably don't burn their red shirts. But guys that probably will burn their red shirts, Jalen Catalon, Devin Bush, Colin Clay, Matial Soli, Zach Zymos, because I think he's going to play special teams. He's going to rotate with the 2s and the 3s at the linebacker spot. Eric Gregory, maybe Enoch Jackson, and then outside of that, I think the rest of those guys probably redshirt. We'll have to wait and see on a couple of them, but those are some names to keep an eye on. But yeah, I think, look, there's some promise there with this, especially with the front 7. You're still worried about how thin they are at linebacker. If Zach Zymos can come in and be a consistent rotating guy at bumper pull, makes a significant jump from year 1 to year 2, and if Scooter Harris stays healthy, they might be good enough that they make a pretty big leap from last year to this year. If that all has to happen. If it all happens, they could compete for a bowl game. Obviously, the offense has to hold up their end. I think they're capable of doing that. But I don't think a bowl game is completely out of this team's reach. I really don't. I think there's a pathway there for the Hogs. It's just whether or not these things happen. If everything connects, if everyone's on the same page. If they are, it could happen. Okay, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and checking out the content. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, check out all the links down below. Please check out the Hog Talk podcast. That link is also provided for you down below as well. So that's going to do it. Next week we're going to talk about the fall camp so far, and then probably give you a recruiting update as well. So until next week, go Hogs. Woo pig.